He's here. Please excuse him as well as them all.
What?
Please excuse them all as well if you didn't already.
Oh, okay. Mabad? Here. Danny? Marcus? Here. Carl? Andrew Brownlee? Cameron Forsyth? Here. Miles? Dish? Here. Braden? Michael P? Here. Mallory? Here. Andrew Montre? Here. Mohammed? Marty? Here.
Please excuse Danny.
Danny?
Yep, thank you. Okay, can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we hear a motion to approve the minutes from last week?
Second.
Okay, any opposed? Do you have a motion to make? Those minutes have been approved for last week, but if you have any motions, you could do them at this time.
Okay, and can I make the motion to bring this legislation I sent you to people?
I have a question. What is the legislation about?
It basically gives that organization $150. It's a philanthropic organization. They raise money through fundraisers to buy the children of the Children's Hospital of Michigan presents during the holidays to make the financial burden easier on the parents.
Mm-hmm. And was this brought up in the past, or is this something that's time sensitive?
It's time sensitive due to the fact that the fundraiser they're throwing is December 8th, or December 9th.
Well, we can look over it. We can approve it and then go over it. Okay, the motion's heard. Do I hear a second?
Second.
This needs 2/3. I will ask for a show of hands. All those in favor of adding this to new business, please raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, this has been added to the new business. Emma, if you want to just write like snow pile legislation, that'd be great. Appreciate it. Okay, with that, we can move on to guest speakers. I apologize it isn't written in, but we have a student trustee with us today, Anna Crisp.
Hi everyone. It's been a while since I've been to see you. How's everybody doing? How's your Thanksgiving? Great. Wonderful. Sorry I've missed you the past couple weeks. We had the BG game, which was awesome, right? Too bad we can't go play them in the MAC, huh? And then after that with Thanksgiving and everything, so I'm sorry I couldn't make it to see you, but I have a lot of stuff to update you on. Early November, I went to the Ohio Department of Higher Education's Trustees Conference for the year, which was very insightful on a lot of things. Their theme was affordability and efficiency. They had a task force there to provide recommendations for that. They shared with us that the average student debt in Ohio is $28,000. That's a lot of debt. And so we looked at some different ways to address that, including textbook affordability, making sure that students graduate on time, and then we also talked about outsource of parking, which I noticed in the, what's it called? Your steering. Your steering minutes. That's something that you guys are already talking about. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. How do you guys feel about outsourcing parking to another company outside of the U.S.? Go ahead.
I'm not really
outside of the U.S. I'm sorry, outside of UT. Go ahead.
I'm not really a fan of it just because I know that the parking prices are going to go a lot higher. Mm-hmm. And as a commuter, I really don't have a choice. I have to purchase it.
Mm-hmm. I guess to that, how would you feel about different distances? And I think you guys have surveyed on this before. Different distances from buildings on campus being less money. So further away from campus, your parking pass is less. Does that make it better or not so much?
I don't really think that it solves the problem just because you're going to want to be closer anyway, and it's just a way, I think, just to make for the company, whoever's in charge of parking, to just kind of make more money off of it. It's not really helping the students, I don't think.
Thank you.
We had a survey about that a while ago, like you just said, and most students said that they wouldn't pay less to park further away or more to work closer.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah. it
That's good to
wouldn't
know,
matter.
thank you.
They just wanted to pay less than what it is right now, so I don't think any students would appreciate paying to park.
It wouldn't matter. We'd all be like miles away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, you guys can all park at my house. I'm like a mile off campus. We'll walk together. Anything else to add to that you'd like to share? Yeah.
Which part of work is going to be outsourced? Is it the processing of payments for tickets? Is it enforcement, people who drive around and ticket people, or what?
I don't think it would be enforcement. Everything else, maintenance, payments, that would all be from another company, but enforcement would still be through UT. Anything else on that? Okay, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. As for textbook affordability, we talked about the cost of that. It comes out to be about 10% of tuition costs. We also talked about the importance of professors ordering textbooks early. If a professor decides which textbook they want and kind of submits that to the university earlier, it makes that textbook more affordable, because the closer you get to class time, the more expensive they are. So really pushing for that. OSU actually said that they would save $2.5 to $3 million for students if their professors would just get those textbooks ordered sooner as opposed to later. Graduating on time, we talked about the cost, a lot of which had to do economically. That's time that you're not in the workforce. It's also another year that you're having to pay rent and tuition. They encouraged us to advocate to students that we need to educate students about the cost of not graduating on time. So those economic costs, I mean, to yourself and also to society. So just something to share with students as well. Also, that money saved goes to quality or cost containment for our education as well, so it helps us in the long run. Other institutions shared some things with us. If you guys would like to kind of save you some time, would you want me to share this report with you online, like through an email, instead of rambling on? Because I know you guys got other things to do. I'm just kind of going to brief over it. Is that okay? Everyone's cool with that? She's good. Okay. Cleveland State, Ohio University, and Clark State, which is a two-year college, were all there to share some things that they were doing to save costs at the university. I was personally very impressed with Ohio University, so I'll talk specifically about them, and if you want to read about the other ones, please do. They had one cost for tuition and fees locked in for 4 years, which is actually really interesting. Most universities will lock that tuition for 4 years, but kind of switch around different fees. So they had, it's called their Ohio Guaranteed Program. They also raised $75 million in scholarships, and a lot of that was through their alumni. They made a deal with alumni that if you give $2, we'll give $2, and it all went to that scholarship fund. They also created their programs so that 58% of them could be finished in 3 years. So that goes back to graduating on time and also that economic cost. So I thought that was very neat. I went to a couple different presentations, one on an initiative to prevent sexual violence on campus. I shared with them actually what we're doing at UT through the SWAT program and a lot of their presentations that they do, as well as our human trafficking and social justice institutions. So they're in contact, they're kind of creating some best practice options and getting UT's name out there. The other one that I attended was on textbook affordability, which I found really interesting, and I'm hoping that you guys too. The University of Cincinnati actually partners with big publishers to purchase books for students in bulk for a reduced price. So these are more for higher enrollment classes, so say your bio, your chem, those books that you're required to get that online component. They purchase those ahead of time through a relationship with that publisher, and that makes the price for the book a lot cheaper. The one thing that I kind of questioned was that price is incorporated in a course fee at that point. I don't know if that would be considered a pro or con, because if you're going to buy the book to pass the class, you're going to have to purchase it anyway. Is it better to make that cost lower but make it a required price or not? So I thought that was interesting, and if you guys are ever interested in textbook affordability and want to kind of work with me on that, I think Provost Barrett would be good to work with on that. So if anybody would be interested, feel free to contact me about that. That was all for the conference. Does anybody have any questions about any of those subjects? We're good? Okay. We had the November Board of Trustees meeting for clinical affairs. We're changing the person that or the company that we're going through for inpatient electronic medical records just because they're sunsetting one program. This new program that we're going into for this new company that we're using is cheaper and works a lot better with us, and just seems to be an overall better option. The one thing about that is that they focus mostly in emergency medicine and are just kind of starting out on the inpatient side. So that's that. Finance and Audit Committee, we talked about, we approved some improvements of Douglas Road and Dorr Street. So they'll be doing some construction on that, so thank goodness for our cars, right? I feel like I'm gonna get a flat tire every time I drive that way. We also talked about some highlights that our university has received. So there's something called a Moody rating. There's different ratings for our universities nationally. We scored an A on that and a Standard & Poor's rating of an A, which basically is equivalent to a positive outlook for our university. A lot of that was contributed to the election of Dr. Gaber as our 17th president and also the academic affiliation with ProMedica. We looked at our income statements. Nothing surprising to you guys. They desired improvements in enrollment, reducing costs, and reducing our space footprint. We looked at our balance sheet, and this is actually great. When comparing debt to our operating avenue, we actually have a pretty low level of debt for fiscal year 15, so that's good. Provost Barrett talked about a report to the Inter-University Council, the IUC, going over low enrollment courses and programs. He also touched on House Bill 64, which basically has a lot to do with budget. He talked about reducing cost of attendance, reducing time to degree, all the same stuff that we've talked about. But one thing that he did say is that we're the most affordable four-year institution in the state of Ohio regarding price and what we have to offer. So I think that's good to promote on our side, huh? So that's all I got. Does anybody have any questions? I'll be sure to send all this out so you can get it. And if you, again, with the textbook thing, if that's something anybody's interested in, please contact me, or if you'd like any other help with projects, just let me know. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Anna. It's always nice to hear from our student trustees. What? Okay. Okay, are there any other guest speakers? Oh, okay, yes. I'll actually just consider this part of open floor since it's technically what it is, but please take the podium.
Hi, my name is Leisha Moore. I'm the secretary for the African People's Association.
Hi, my name is Nina Kalu. I'm the vet coordinator for African People's Association.
This Friday, we're having our 6th annual AIDS Awareness Gala at 6:30 p.m. in the Student Union Auditorium. This gala helps the community. It helps the community gain money for people in the community who need medication and can't afford medication. We try to help by holding this event every year. The proceeds go to children who are affected by AIDS and also women and men. We have the International Student Association, Ryan White Foundation, the African People's Association, and SNAFA who help out with this organization and this event. This year, we're looking for a big push. Even though it's only 3 days away, we weren't successful in getting the push that we needed. So we're reaching out to as many organizations and many events that we can. So we just came here tonight to tell more about the organization and get more people aware as much as possible.
And right now we are asking organizations to buy tables for $80 at Ask Rockies, and tickets right now are $10 at Ask Rockies. Yeah, so like she was saying, we are looking for a big push because it is only a few days away and we're asking for help. So it's a great opportunity.
Do you guys have a Facebook page that we can share information
Yes,
with other
it's
students?
Yes, it's through the International Students Association. So because we're an umbrella organization with them, it's on their page. If you go to the International Student Association Facebook page, it's a link and a hashtag that we have through them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Guys, a lot of the people that I met and made friends with at the international conference in Sandusky, they had been talking about this for months. This is something that I know they've been putting a lot It may not be required, but it's a cheap way to get involved in the community, but also give back. So I know I'm going. If anyone else would like to go, just like contact me. We can get a group and we can go.
Sorry, it's more of a comment. I know that a lot of the organization or colleges on campus, they're also giving extra credit attending this event, so help scratch someone's back, scratch your back. Good advice.
Can you just repeat the time, please?
It's at 6:30 p.m. in Student Union Auditorium through 9 p.m. And there will be food provided. Food is free if you attend the event. And there will be free HIV testing. If you just want to tell people that's trying to come, or you inviting people, that's this information that we have that's going on as well.
Yeah, and doors open at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for open floor? Yes, sir.
Hi, everyone. Well, I just wanted to make an announcement. This being the last meeting of the semester, Ben Lynn is graduating in December. Yeah. So this is going to be his last meeting with us. How long have you been in student government? 4 years. So he's given a lot to this organization. I know that when I joined my freshman year, he was someone I looked up to. I know he's been all around this organization, being committee heads, planning events, things of that nature. So we owe a lot to Ben for what he's done for this organization and really given us a lot of advice because we're a young group. So it helps that to have someone so knowledgeable and be able to give so much service to this organization. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say congratulations on graduating. Yeah.
Well said. Mr. Lynn?
As Ian said, this is my last meeting. Unlike my rant a couple weeks ago, I figured I would end with a positive note for everybody. When I first joined student government, the process was much easier to join. But I came in right before Christmas, probably the last meeting of the semester, and I only had to attend one meeting. And the second meeting, you were sworn in right away, so it was an easy process to get in. I made some friends right away. I attended my first steering committee meeting, and before I know it, the semester was over, and I was handpicked to take over the forerunner of the campus affairs committee. One of the things I did in campus affairs, it was called SIPS back then. The first thing I did, I'm trying to remember, but all I know is that I had an idea, and I had talked to our president, Paulette, and she had told me to contact Chuck Leonard, who was at the time the vice president in charge of facilities. And so it's pretty neat looking back on it that here I am, a sophomore, just taking over position in student government, and I'm sitting in a conference room having a conversation with the vice president of the university. We're joking, having a great time. He pulls out his phone, I have an idea, and he pulls out a phone and right in front of me, calls the person underneath him and says, hey, a student has the idea to set up a text alert system, and he makes a joke about someone in the bathroom running out of toilet paper, and before I know it, like within the end of the semester, UT had set up this text alert system. So I would just like to say that if you have an idea, don't hesitate with it. Go right away to the resources. Cody and Ian have done a great job so far. Our UT presidents, they've usually all done a good job, and they work well with students in student government and with the administration, so they know just who to talk to. So don't, have an idea, run with it. You never know what could happen. You have a chance to really impact the university. So I just want to say that, and although I'm graduating, I'll be around for at least a little bit. I have to come back next semester and pick up my jacket. But, don't be afraid to reach out to me on Facebook if you need help. But But yeah, it's been a great time. I've had a lot of fun. I was very happy I joined and kept with it, and I'm very happy that there's so many faces here, people who have stuck through for a couple years and new people joining up. And I hope you guys enjoy it truly as much as I have. Thank you.
Very tough to follow up, but before we take any other open floor, I'd also like to go ahead and give my little spiel. Ben is one of the first kind of close connections I made with student government members. From working closely with him with post-election festival for the election 2 years ago to getting toe-to-toe in an argument about parking legislation, I feel like no matter what stance we've always taken, we've had a high amount of respect for each other. He's a guy that I've always seen in the office. We both live in the office. And he's always not afraid to come and talk to me for 30 minutes on end, even if it's about nothing, about football. And he's just a good guy that I've been able to confide in as well as just kind of relate to. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. He's been around for at least 4 administrations. He's probably seen or heard things from other, even past SG sessions. He has experience that no one else in this room can really share or relate to just because of his really serious involvement with student government. My hat's off to you for graduating. I'll probably always consult advice from you. I really look forward to hearing great things from you in the future. Congrats again. Anybody else for open floor at this time? Yes, sir.
In the spirit of the end of this semester, as many of you already know, I am going to co-op next semester. So that means I can't be here doing the job I love to do the most as external affairs chair, so I am going to have to resign the position.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going on co-op too, so I let you all know. I'm going to Boston, so I'll be snowed in my apartment, and I'll be coming back next year.
Any other co-op heartbreaks that I need to know about? Marcus, stop. Any other open floor? Okay, at this time we can move on to appointments. Okay, the election board is something that, for those of you who are in the office today, I've realized that I don't have completely finalized. There's a lot of things that I had to go over, and basically here's my stance on it. The Constitution says that we shall have up to 8 members, including the chair. I only have 5 to present to you guys, and my reasoning might be, you might disagree with, but just hear me out. Almost everyone that wanted to be, or was accepted their nominations to be part of the election board, part of that job, as defined by the election manual, is to promote elections. How is it then fair to let you be on the board that prohibits you from running in your own election? Our new members have really kind of impressed me. All the interviews I thought were just really good as a whole when I first introduced them to Senate, but I've realized that they're very influential members that are very eager to pick up work, and I think when they're nominated to the election board, they wanted to do it just because they love the involvement, they love the organization, they really want to make the most of it. However, I really don't want them to be part of the election board because I don't want to hold them back from becoming an elected senator, as I'm aware that almost all of them, if not all of them, want to run for. Therefore, I would strongly recommend that none of those members that are interested in running for elected senator attempt to be part of the election board. Nevertheless, if there's debate and there's any of you want to be in it, I'm not going to hold you back. Without further ado, here are the 5 that we've kind of put together. I have Danny, Dylan, Sandeep, Nick Stimes, and myself. Does anyone else have any additional nominations or have any debate about the 5 that I've selected? Any nominations for anybody else? Basically, I think 5 can do the job that up to 8 could, just because we won't have most likely a competitive Senate election. However, the people I've chosen, as well as the people who are running, will make the most of this. I think this election season is going to be a lot better than it was last year. No offense to last year's election board, just like the election process itself, I think was just in a bad situation. Yes?
I do have a question about how it operates. I know, I'm pretty sure the election manual, the way it's set up is to have a chair that doesn't vote and then an odd number that does vote, so that way there's no ties. With 5 people on the board, how is that concerned? Does that change anything? How is...
Great question. The chair votes in the event of a tie.
Okay.
So, almost any situation you have, there would be no situation that rule would kind of interfere with the process or make it unfair. Just like if it was 2-2, the third person breaks it, and it's the majority anyways. Yes.
I nominate Carl.
Thank you. Thanks. Anybody else have any debate over the election board members? Any motions to approve? Yes.
Second.
Any objections? All those in favor of approving the election board, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, this will be our election board. Look forward to working with all of you. Okay, up next we have the External Affairs Chair position. First, Jared, if you'd like to kind of give a little bit about what your job does, as if people don't know, and
I could have meant to write stuff down, but I can just give it a whirl. My job is to make student government known to people and also organize a lot of the publicity stuff we do. So tabling, organize giveaways, sometimes events, I'll coordinate with that. So just generating ideas to get the organization name out there, more people involved with us, better light, people view us in a better light. Tabling is the main thing, well not the main thing, but a really big part of that. Organized time, making sure people are there. There's always stuff, giveaways, all that's involved with that. Also the little goals that we've done, the shadow box, the board outside the office, updating the trifold board, and then the other main thing is social media, updating that whenever somebody wants something posted on there, as well as just updating social media. So I think that's all I do. So,
what was your favorite part?
my favorite part? Oh God. Honestly, I got so much out of it because it was a way to really give back to the organization. I feel like what I've done has really helped the organization grow and become more mainstream in the eyes of the students. So if you really want to help the organization and really make it grow, this is a really great position to help you do that.
Thank you, Jared. At this time, we'll accept nominations for External Affairs Chair. Any nominations? Yes.
I nominate Amal.
Amal, do you accept?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. Any motions to approve by show of hands? We need 2/3. Okay. Any objections to that? All those in favor of allowing Amal to be the next External Affairs Chair, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Okay. Amal's not opposed, so that's good. Amal is our new External Affairs Chair. Congratulations. I think I speak on behalf of Sierra when I say we're excited to work with you. Okay, now moving on to our beloved COSGA appointments. Hopefully all of you received an email from Ian. It was very well put together, explained kind of what COSGA is about, some exciting photos. Luckily no embarrassing photos of myself, as those many of you have probably seen. Probably on Sebastian's phone if you're interested. At this time, we can accept nominations for COSGA. Keep in mind that at least 2 have to be steering members. That's the only restraint. Yes?
I'd like to nominate Dakota.
You accept, Dakota? I would say no.
An official nomination.
I don't know. I guess I can, but... Okay, sorry, I'm writing these down in case there's a bunch. Emma?
I'd like to nominate Sam.
You accept?
I accept.
Another happy acceptance. Yes?
I'd like to nominate Dylan.
Dylan, do you accept?
I accept.
Dr. Warren? Serna?
I'd like to nominate Dan.
Dan, do you accept? Andrew?
Nominate Sandeep.
Sandeep, do you accept?
Accept.
Amal?
I'd like to nominate Nadine.
You accept? Andrew? I'm sorry, Marty?
I nominate Jared.
Jared, do you accept?
I accept.
Okay, Dak.
I'd like to nominate Mallory.
Do you accept? Yes.
I'd like to nominate Steins.
Steins, do you accept? You decline. Okay, we have 8 currently. We have 2 steering nominated, which essentially guarantees their spot. Do we have any other nominations? Yes. Yes.
Do we have to equal male and female this year?
That's a good.
Minimum of 2 of each gender is what we decided to steer.
Yeah, I apologize for not bringing that up. We decided at steering to make it at least 2, a minimum of 2 of each gender to attend. Mm-hmm. Any other nominations? Okay. I'm trying to think of how we should do this. We have 8 right now. 2 from.
How many girls do we have?
Well, actually, if we count deck steering, we have.
18. So we.
Nope, 4.
Well, so should we do the girls? Or I'm trying to think. Or should we do a runoff until we have at least 2 girls?
How about while we think about it? Could everyone that was nominated please come to the front?
Yeah, good call.
Apologize for the lack of organization. I have thought about this. I swear.
I thought about it too. I don't know.
I had nightmares about it.
People steering go against each other, and the student from that can go from everyone else. So that way we have to have 2 from steering.
I don't want all the steering to go against each other. If
they don't get it from steering, have them go with the rest of the group.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Okay. At this time, could each member that was appointed please, in like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, just explain why you'd want to be a part of COSGA? You can start over there.
Other student governments, and especially in light of what was happening in Missouri, I'd like to see how other student governments are dealing with making their universities more inclusive.
Well, I've been student government for like a year now, and I also show diversity in student government. And also for Cody, I attended the diversity council, the president's diversity council, and we talk about a lot of issues about how we could fix diversity in the university, and I'd like to share those ideas at this meeting.
Hello. I would like to go to COSGA because I obviously care about this organization and I would like to bring ideas back. The mentor program idea kind of snowballed from something that we heard about at COSGA that me, Nadine, and Tricia have been working on this semester. And since I've been there before, I could serve as sort of a mentor for the rest of the people that go and help guide them through the conference.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam. Yeah, I did every single organized event that we had last year, including this year, including social events. I'm on the Student Grievance Council. I am the committee head for the campus affairs. Just really want to help the organization grow and prosper. I have a lot of experience in the past working with administrators, and I just want to bring that towards, I went to Utsg too, which is the Ohio State Student Government Affairs. Sorry, my blood sugar is low, I'm about to pass out. That's basically it. I'll be fine. I'm gonna go get candy after this. And send me if you want someone to improve the experience and the U.S. student government. Thank you.
One of my main motives in attending this conference is collaborating with other people. At all of the other conferences I've attended, I've continued to network with other people and build relationships, and I think, I don't know, like a mutual relationship like that can benefit student government more than it already has. We're already looking towards the future and wanting to build upon those relationships. I feel that I'm very networked and very involved in our campus, and I'm obviously trying to do that. For example, the event on Friday, I think everyone should take part in that. I'm also looking at, next year I'm studying abroad, and I want to utilize this opportunity to set up a bridge program in England. So that's just one of the things that I'm looking at. I've already begun talks with them, with the student union, and that's how I'm looking to collaborate and use relationships to make this a better organization.
I'm very involved on campus. I have a way different viewpoint than a lot of people here. I feel like I have some very strong opinions, and I'd be happy to share those with other people and get their own input. I feel like I can represent the University of Toledo student government very, very well, and listen to other people, bring back those ideas, and try to improve us even more than I feel like we can do. I feel like I'm a great candidate to go because I just really feel like I can really bring back a lot from this. I feel like this would be a great experience.
I don't know if I have to say my name, but I'm Mallory. Well, I've never been to a conference, honestly, like this. It'd be a good experience. I like to network with people, and a big thing that I want to get out from it is to get ideas like bigger legislation pushed for Toledo to make bigger changes, I guess, because I feel like we need to focus on larger improvements, I guess.
Hello everyone, I'm Jared. I was your External Affairs Chair this semester, so I've been in leadership positions in student government. I've been in student government a year, and I will be for another 2.5 years. So I've been in for a while, and I will also be in for longer after this. So I think going to COSGA will really help me network with people and also bring back ideas that I can implement through the long run. I am very aware of how our organization works, so I can represent our organization very well to other organizations, as well as bringing other ideas back and trying to implement them, because once I get back from co-op, I do plan on running for more leadership positions, and even though I will be on co-op, my employer is very, works with my schedule, so I think like it's Monday and Tuesday that we will be gone. It's okay for me to miss one of those days, so work will not be an issue going to COSGA.
Okay, do we have any questions for these candidates? I apologize for all talking behind you guys. You were listening this way. Yes.
I have a question for you, Cody.
Okay.
How many spots available are there?
There's 6. Sorry if I didn't specify that. Yes.
So this is a question for Danny, Mallory, and Jared, because y'all mentioned networking. How will networking help this organization improve?
Well, it's all about building relationships with other people, getting their input, and trying to pass them on to their own supervision so that they can take it back. I feel like building relationships is a major part of any type of thing, especially with a conference such as this. And with everyone over there, they're all going to have different opinions, so it's good to network and try and find out something new.
I meant that by like getting more ideas from them, because I think we could really benefit from that. We're a relatively kind of small organization, but we do hold a lot of power, and I think if we talk to them more and see what they're doing at their universities, we could get more of an idea of what we could do here to make more improvements.
Similar to what Mallory said, just sharing ideas with other organizations, seeing what works for them, what doesn't work for them, possibly bringing that back, as well as getting our input, stuff we've tried that hasn't worked. And also collaborating with stuff. If there's like some large event that a bunch of universities in our area are doing, and we can be a part of that, that's definitely something I want to pursue. So.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we have any debate? Does anyone have any debate, or are we okay voting on them now? Yes.
I just like to say Dakota is the only person up there who went there last year, and as a person who went last year, it was me and 4 others, Cody, Ian, Dakota, and Sebastian, and we were a little bit lost without someone there who had already been there before. And we felt, as all 5 of us felt, like if we had someone there that was there the year before, we could have made a better use of our time. So I really recommend you guys voting Dakota to go for this year.
I know we've decided that Jared's not considered one of the steering members. Any other debates? Sorry, I can't really see it. And I keep keeping the mic, but it's not me. Okay, if there's no other debate, I'll ask that everybody that's nominated please be seated. We figured out a procedure that's fair. So how this is going to work, one, SJC can vote to knock the first question out of the park. We're going to do this by show of hands. Each person can nominate 3 people. We're not going to be watching you, so please be honest and vote for only 3 people. We can have our eyes closed. I know we did that last year. I'm indifferent. Does any... Okay, we'll do a quick show of hands. Who wants to have their eyes closed? Please raise your hand. Oh.
Like turn your backs.
Yes.
Last year we had the people that we're nominated, just
Oh, you're right.
face that the
Stand
projector,
up here and then
so
face
that
this
nobody's
way.
like feelings.
Even like you see people inside. Yes. Yes.
The meeting's recorded and posted online, so no matter what, they're gonna find out.
Bang. Forgot. Yes. Yeah, we'll close down the vote. Yeah. As long as everybody votes 3 times, I think it will go smoothly. And in regards to the results, we'll have to go from there. We couldn't really formulate a plan because we had no idea how many people would actually be nominated. It would be greatly different depending on how many people got nominated and things like that. But again, everyone can vote 3 times. I'll go ahead and go down the list. I'm going to have Ian as well as Sebastian count the votes. I will record the tallies. Hopefully there's no discrepancies. What?
Mention about how we're going to do it with gender and steering.
Oh, we're just going to go from there, depending on the results, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the 2 highest in each row was just
Okay, we'll go from there. Do you have any questions? I thought you raised your hand.
Just to clarify, guys,
Guys.
because of the rules of the current constitution, we have to have 2 people from steering. There's 3 members, so we have to have any combination of Nadine, Dakota, and Sam. And we also have to have at least 2 males and 2 females, and since there's only 3 females nominated, it's any combination of Nadine, Dakota, and Mallory. So like, just kind of keep that in mind in your head of how you want to do that.
Somebody took intro to logic. And just keep in mind that more than 2 members of steering can go. Yes, Small?
Do like girls and boys separate, since there has to be 2 girls and 2 boys. I don't think. No.
I'm uncomfortable doing that. We're keeping minimums, but I don't want to make any system that kind of pits the sexes against each other. Doesn't seem right. What? Any other? Okay, are we ready to vote? All those in favor of nominating Dak, please raise your hand. Dakota, I'm sorry. Habit. I'm not going to vote. Sebastian. Sorry, please keep your hands up. It's going to be a long process. Okay, we'll move on. I'll raise your hands in favor of Sam going to Cosga. All those in favor of Dylan, please raise your hand. All those in favor of Danny, please raise your hand. Sandeep. Nadine. Jared. And Mallory. Okay. At this time, I'm going to grant a 5-minute recess while we go over these real quick, just so you guys don't get bored to tears. If you need to go to the restroom, now's the time. as of now that are in. The 6th spot, there was a tie of 7 votes between Mal and Sandeep. So at this time, I guess I might should I announce the ones that already got in or what? Okay, might as well. So I'll go ahead and start off with the good news. So the 5 that are already in are Dakota, Sam, Nadine, Jared, and Dylan. Congrats to you guys. Concede? Yeah. Okay. You know you're tied with Sandeep? I probably already said that. Okay. So you're okay? So Mallory wishes to give it away to Sandeep. So Sandeep has the 6th spot. So congrats, Sandeep. All right. Thank you guys for making that a very smooth procedure. We should have had a little more in place beforehand, but we got it done. I think that's all we have for appointments. Thank you. I'm writing all those names down. We can move on to reports at this time. So take it away, Nadine, with the internal affairs report.
Okay, so the biggest thing is this weekend we have Relay for Life, and this is a mandatory event. It's in the bylaws. And if you don't know how to sign up and you need help, just come to me after the meeting. But you need to check, if you're going in with a different organization, you need to check in with me when you get there, just so I know you're there. And if you have any questions, just see me. Otherwise, if you don't sign up now, then it's going to be $20 at the door. Also, for the mentorship program, everybody's been paired up. So after the meeting, if you go up to the office, you can see we have a Christmas tree, and on the ornaments are your pairs. That's all I have.
Is it just for the 2 members?
I matched up, like, there's more, or there's a lot less new members than old members, but you're matched up, I know that. Not everybody has.
Jared.
Even though I'm not in the position anymore, I'm still going to give the report. For the giveaway legislation that we passed last week, we ordered those today. I think we spent $310 roughly of that, so the other 48 will be going to get candy to give away with that. And they should, if everything is shipped and done on time, they should be here by finals week. So that is all good to go and in the process. We are going to, after the meeting, we're going to get pictures so that we can get posters ready to hang up next semester to advertise our organization. Well, I say this like I'm going to do it. Yes, we are going to get posters hung up next semester. Social media drive. I have the results of that, and we are also going to draw the winner while we're here. But first, the results. We had an increase of 2.5% of followings and likes. 4.6% of that came from Instagram, and 3.4% of that came from Twitter. We had a total of 43 new likes and follows, and we're almost nearing 1,000 on Twitter. Right now we have 962, so we are getting close to our 1,000 followers. That's pretty exciting. So I wrote down all the names and stuff of people who followed us and on note cards and putting them in this cup. So
Amal, since you're the new chair, you can pick a card. And the winner is Marie Cortez from Instagram. She actually liked us on everything, but yeah. She Marie Cortez is her handle, so if you want to go follow her, and we'll be getting in contact with her, post her stuff on social media, but congratulations to her. Sign up for tabling. We have 2 more tabling events. I don't have paper. Oz, can you give me 2 paper? 2 more tabling events this semester that count for the combined November and December. They are, sorry, it's going everywhere. They are both next week, December 9th, which is our normal table in the union that we always do, and
December 11th, which is that Friday, and it is a UT Experience Day. For those of you that did them last time, it's meeting new freshmen and trying to get them interested in our organization. So I will get sign-up sheets and start passing those around. If you haven't tabled yet for November, December, this is your last opportunity to do that. And if you aren't sure, come and see me. I'll let you know if you have. And the last thing is, I believe Trish is going to give a report on all the surveys we've done. But I'm going to talk about the campus involvement survey since that came from my committee, and I was really interested in it. The first question, how many orgs are you part of? The largest percentage, 45%, said 1 to 2 organizations. So that, to me, implies that people want to focus on 1 or 2 organizations but get really involved. So we, as an organization, need to make that organization people really want to get involved in and show them how much of a difference they can make, what they can do in this organization.
What's the tabling time for next Wednesday?
Oh, sorry, next Wednesday?
Well, yes, next Wednesday, next week's Wednesday.
Yeah. The normal time, 10 to 2 with 1 hour increments.
Okay.
And the one on Friday, I believe is, again, 10:30 to 2, but setup is at 10, so but I'll check that. But the sign-up times will be on the sheet. Days that people are on campus, Monday through Thursday, we're all in the high 90s, with Wednesday being the highest, 94%. So our meeting times are at a good place where we can catch the most people. How long are people on campus? 43% said they live here, so that means they should generally, a lot of people are available, but we are also a community campus, so that also says that a lot of these survey responses came from freshmen or fraternity people, so that's something to keep in mind. The rest were about even at 18 to 20% between staying on campus, just to stay on leave as soon as possible, or only stay at big meetings. Length of time people are on campus, 4 to 6 and 6 to 8 had 15%, so a lot of people like to have earlier meetings. So maybe in the future that's something we can look into, possibly having an earlier meeting, or for subcommittees having committee meetings earlier, or other outreach committees, excuse me. The most important, why people want to join organizations, 58% said friends are the main reason why they want to join organizations. They want to feel included, they want that sense of camaraderie and friendship, and really feel like they're included. So I think as an organization, we can work on being more friendly, more inviting, more opening, and also, like we've been saying, invite your friends to join us. Some you might not have thought would be really interested. Just know, hey, come to a meeting, and they might find it really interesting and bring them along. Question?
I know you're not the external affairs chair right now, but do you think it's possible, or it would be in the interest of the student body so they can actually see the results of their responses? Or, I don't know, people would be curious in seeing that, just seeing like the numbers.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
I don't want to condone or deny the resolution for old business about SurveyMonkey, but if that was passed, we'd be able to post them directly from SurveyMonkey to our website. We also have the ability to post these on our Twitter as well as make them public any way possible. We just need to get either this premium SurveyMonkey or just have somebody compile it into an Excel file where it's actually presentable instead of just a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for Trish, but I do believe something like that is in the works, getting that into the public's eye. So that is something Trish is working on. The only other stat was the second highest, why do they want to join? 56% said prestige. So being able to be proud of the organization they're in, show that the organization has a high caliber on campus and it has a lot of sway on campus. So advertising the stuff that we do, we've extended library hours, so we're really going to promote that and just show what a really great organization we are, is how we can get new members and also improve people's interactions with us. So with that, are there any more questions? Anyone? Okay, and since I'm leaving, I'd just like to thank everyone on my committee for all the hard work you've done. It's been really nice working with all you guys this semester, and even though I won't physically be here, I'm still here to help, so good luck.
Like Jared said, I'll be giving just like a quick synopsis of all the surveys we've been doing this year. If you want to see like the full thing, still in the works putting all those on in Excel files. So once we do that, we'll be putting them to the public so that everyone can view them and make legislation from them. But just in general, let's start off with the first survey was, excuse me, the first survey was the parking pass survey. And from this, we learned that students are really divided on whether or not they would pay, but like mostly students don't really care. They just don't want it to be as expensive as it is. That's what I got as comments. The next survey was the Dr. Gaber survey, and the main idea from that is that they want Dr. Gaber to be more involved with the student body. They want her to like come to our events and be like a very personal president, which she has been doing, and she's really been getting in there with the students, so I mean, that's a good thing. The next survey we did was the rocket wheel survey, and a lot of people said that they would use it, and but only during like the warm months, because once it gets cold, people want to bike, I don't think. And they like the locations that they're at right now, and I think we did a good job advertising that afterwards. The next survey was the housing changes survey, and I feel like a lot of us thought that people were going to be outraged by it, but a lot of people had positive feedback. They said that it would make us less of a commuter campus and make us more like have like a homier feel. And also a lot of people were indifferent towards it because they're like grandfathered in and they don't have to abide by that, since it's only incoming freshmen that will have to abide by that. And then we did the Rockies Attic survey, which the results are still in the works for that, but I know a lot of people want to see something happen with that, which Sam and his committee are working on very well. And also, that's like the end of like my thing, but this week's question, which I'm going to make right after, is about library hours, not just for the week of exams, but for in general. Just a little, we're putting our feelers out there, like how long people would actually stay at the library. So like, basically one of the questions involves how late would you stay in the library on average, what floor would you study on, and then how much would you go there, blah, 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 stuff like that. Basically just to get a feel for whether students want library hours extended or not, which I'm sure they will. And those results will not be due until next Friday, since we will not be having much, since it's the end of finals week, and also we want a table on this question next Wednesday, so in order to do that, since we don't have tabling this week, it won't be due until next Friday, December 11th. But I'll put that all in the Facebook post. And yeah, that's about it. Also, don't just assume that Nadine knows that you have another organization to go with for Relay for Life. Like, explicitly tell her. Don't just assume she knows. And make sure you sign up, because again, it's mandatory, so. And it's also a great cause. That's it. Thank you.
Everyone, all right, so we're almost done with this Mother's Lounge situation. Still getting the student overtime, hopefully to square away what the she's got. We are still working with Doug Collins on beautifying the campus. Right now we're thinking of, before I die, I'm gonna quote into walls and still in a lot of work in progress right now. This semester, obviously, nothing's going to get done immediately. We're just laying the groundwork and foundation to get everything set up for next semester. So hopefully it works out. If you have any questions, see me afterwards.
Hey guys, so for the Student Grievance Council, we have had one meeting, which was actually for the athletic panel, which is an off-branch of Student Grievance Council, and it had to do with a student scholarship. Now, what happened in there is actually confidential, but I just wanted to let you know that it happened. Now, the Student Grievance Council, we have been given 2 cases that we have to consider whether or not they should go to trial. So we are in that process right now. In regards to our identity and our midlife crisis, we have decided to talk more about it before implementing some legislation next semester. I think that as a council, we should sleep on it and reflect as to what we want us to become. So that's my report for SJC. Now for the student legal services, which I am with Ian and Ben, one of the things that we kept bringing back was the fact that they needed a bigger room. The room that they currently have in Rocket Hall is very, very small. And if you want that kind of privacy between yourself and the attorney, you're not going to have it in that tiny room. Furthermore, they have a lot of files that need to be taken care of. So if anybody is looking to help the student legal services in that regard, please contact them. I am sure that they will reward you greatly. And is there anything that I'm forgetting in regards to that? Yes. Dylan, there you go.
We're also looking to increase advertisement, become more well-known on campus. And at first, when Ian mentioned the office space problem, I literally thought it was just like a space problem, but it's also like a clerical problem because there are like copiers and important rooms where there are files and there's a bunch of stuff going on. Well, he was in the room at some times, and if the entire situation could be resolved if they had a different space. And I'm sure that we could find another space for them on campus. So if we just jump on that and push it as much as possible, that's how I would like to help.
Yeah, also in regards to that helping with the files, we kind of brought up the point that it could maybe become something like federal work study, something to help people with their schooling, which is something that the person in charge said that they were going to look into as well. And also, just as a point of reference, the top 3 cases that the Student Legal Services have looked at this past fiscal year, I believe, have been alcohol-related, landlord-tenant issues, and there was a violence one. So that's my report for SJC and Student Legal Services.
Okay, before I forget, and it's inscribed right by my report, I better do the Senator of the Week since I've forgotten it just about every time I've been up here. This one comes from Internal Affairs, one of our newer members. Actually had a productive conversation with him today regarding the website. So without further ado, I'd like to give this to Andrew Montree. Congratulations. And since this is the last meeting, you got to carry that around every day over winter break. Or you better not. You might break it. It's very valuable. So, getting into my report, now that I've taken care of that, Anna Chris mentioned parking, the fact that they want to, or they've been looking into the feasibility of privatizing. I definitely won't say that they're inclined either way at this point, so I don't want to speak on behalf of the administration. She did point out a lot of things that I was going to address. I'll try to summarize my thoughts. This is done at Ohio State and brought in a revenue of $500 million with a B. They've endowed this money and it's basically been used for scholarships, research. It's just a huge amount of money. There's no way to kind of sugarcoat that or the opposite of that. It's a lot of money, but it clearly comes with the downside to the students. However, on their end, the students will only pay an increase of 5% each year is the deal that they have. So I would only support this for students if there was a very small, maybe incremental increase for the students. The thing that I want to fight for today, and for the rest of my tenure as president, is to make sure that the faculty, they pay as much or more than the students do. As of right now, they pay less. To my understanding, we are one of the few public universities that actually do that in the area. I think it's kind of fair and it's just what all the other universities are doing. And if they're doing it and like a lot of them are having better financial success than we are, then to me it's a no-brainer. It's not too much money to ask for anyways. But just in regards to that, I believe Ian and I were told how much we've been made an offer from another company to privatize our parking. It was very substantial. It would help us with a lot of our budget woes and would help decrease the possibility of an across-the-board cut, which Dr. Gaber has expressed again and again that she really does not want to do. The way that deal sounded, however, it sounded like it would be a lot harsher on the students' end, could potentially double the cost of parking, and that's something that I won't stand for. At least I will fight. I'll fight as hard as I can for that, just because I don't think it's very fair for the students to bail out the university like that. And I also think that there's a lot of questions, a lot of gray area as to how it's enforced. She did mention that it wouldn't really control enforcement, but it could depend on the deal. It looked the way Ohio State ran theirs that they had no control over enforcement. And to me, I feel like the university should have a little bit of a say over it. So as long as the deal is done correctly and is at a benefit to not only the university and the students, I think this is a pretty big deal for the university looking forward. I'll try my best to be as transparent as possible when I hear things about that. I just don't want to say too much ahead of time in case I've been told something that hasn't really broke the water yet. Speaking of parking, we actually have been invited to appoint one member to serve on the committee. The meeting is over winter break though. I have asked Ian to attend it. There hasn't been any description as to what the parking committee will do, but I have a feeling it has a strong implication about privatization or just other things that we can do to address our parking. I won't say parking issues, address our parking. In regards to other committee meetings, this one, unlike that one, I would be open to have anybody that wants to be a part of it. This is the facilities and construction meeting. This is along with, I think it's a big implication to campus affairs. I just, hearing about what the campus plans are for UT as well as looking onward. This is similar to, but I do not believe it is one of the master plan meetings that some of you may have attended in the past. Other than that, I can't really describe about it too much because I kind of heard about it a little late. But it's held tomorrow at 10 in the morning. The time change seemed kind of abrupt, and I have a class at 10. I don't want to go on record saying I'll skip class for it, but I will happily attend it if no one else wants to do it. It's tomorrow at 10. It's from 10 to 11:30. It's in the plant operations building. I would, if Carl or Dylan were interested, I was going to give you guys first dibs since you guys went to the master planning meeting. Yep. Class. Carl? You have class or you'll go? Okay. Ian and Carl will happily go. I gave them precedent because they've been to meetings before that actually there's a lot of information that they probably won't slow down. There's probably a lot of things that they've covered so many times. They're going to skim over details. It's not a meeting that I'd want anybody to go into without a briefing ahead of time. So I'm glad that you were able to step up as well as Ian because it's really good for us to be informed with that kind of matters. My faculty senate committee that I'm in is the undergraduate curriculum. We met for 2 hours last week, and our meeting this week was canceled. It was awesome because it was 9 in the morning. I didn't really want to go. But we handled a lot of new class requests as well as some course modifications. I didn't see any that were necessarily new. There are some that have been offered maybe 2 years ago that they just need to be formally introduced back into the system. There's like a very specific request form to be in a class. One of the requests is that you submit a syllabus. A lot of the professors that submitted it, there's a very undetailed syllabus. So, as a part of that committee, I was a little surprised. But at the same time, these classes are going to be offered maybe even a year in advance. So, off the top of my head, I know that they're trying to reintroduce a class for Caribbean history, but it was like a very specific decade. It was very specific. I'm not a history buff, so I couldn't tell you if there was anything that interesting going on at that time. But I think 1 and 2, both of those courses were being proposed to be offered. For all of you engineers or computer programmers, they're doing a fuzzy logic kind of programming course they're introducing for electrical engineers. It's like a 4,000 level class. Apparently they've done it in the past. Seems very interesting, way above my head. Other than that, I think they were just, a lot of the modifications were literally just like tweaking a word in the syllabus or something. They just wanted to make sure that they weren't making any changes without our permission, which if there are changes like that, they're not really necessary. But I think there was also an internship that wanted to boost up the credit hours pretty high, I'll get more details on that, but I think the committee as itself was kind of opposed to that to save money for the students. Other than that, that's basically all we talked about. It was a pretty quick meeting, although we covered a lot of material. Looking at the website, I did mention that Andrew Montry has been introduced to a lot of the things that we're doing. Brayton Connolly has volunteered as well. As of now, we're kind of a very informal website team. And as I was explaining to them some things, I kept telling them that there's no way we could have a drop-down menu for our indexes, and not 5 minutes later, I figured out we could do it. So I've started to kind of tweak around the way our website looks. If you ever have time to go on it, which I hope some of you visit it occasionally, if you go to documents, you can now drop down a menu, pull up the Constitution, bylaws, handbook, eventually election manual. So in 2 clicks, you can get our Constitution as a PDF. So in case you're in a meeting and you're in a pinch, you want to see the Constitution, 2 clicks. I believe that, I gave them a password. I changed the password so they have all access to it. If you guys have any suggestions, bring them up to myself, Andrew, or Brayton. Traffic-wise, I think we actually got 40 or 50 views over Thanksgiving break. So that's pretty cool because I didn't look at it, and usually the views come from me. So it's very interesting to me that other people, maybe even members of student government, are actually looking at it. Very encouraging to me. I spent a lot of time on it. And I hope that it's, I make it to the point where next year when we come to renew the subscription, that's actually appealing and something that not only we use, but the students use as a resource. And then lastly, again, Utsg, I have a lot of control over picking the meeting as well as any guest speakers for that. If any of you are interested in attending an Ohio State Government or Ohio Student Government Association meeting, I'd love to have you, and I'll try to work with you on picking speakers as well as a time and place that works for you guys. I don't want to be selfish, but I am going to give precedent to University of Toledo students. Other than that, I believe that is all I have, and I'll pass it off to Ian.
All right, everybody. Just to give you a heads up, one of the first meetings we're going to have in January 19th, President Gaber is slotted in to be the guest speaker, so look your best for that. Again, that's Tuesday, January 19th. Cody and I have been working, trying to establish communication with the executives for the library, to talk about employment, to see where they are at for extending library hours on a regular basis. I know, Cody, did you email to everybody the extension for? So if everybody, make sure you check your email. It gives a full schedule for exam week. The next upcoming weeks, the hours have been extended for certain days, so check that. Cody got that out, but we're going to continue to see what we can do about getting hours extended on a regular basis, not just for exams. Thirdly, student legal services relocation. I'm going to establish contact with the building managers at Rocket Hall to see what we can do, use the resolution that we passed a couple weeks ago, and make sure that we move on that. But we've talked about that already. And lastly, I plan on starting next semester, hitting the ground running with the book taxes petition and getting a full-fledged campaign going for that, and devoting all my time probably at the beginning of the semester for that. So are there any questions? All right, that's all I got. Thank you. Enjoy your Christmas break.
So we do have a few committees reports up. Some of them are overdue, but we're going to get them all out today. So first up, we have Ben with the Senior Res Life. You probably know the title a lot better than I do. A Res Life report. Oh.
It's me again, everybody. I don't know if anyone remembers when Dr. K came to student government a couple months ago. I had asked a question about resident life and RA contracts. The week before Thanksgiving, like the Friday right before that weekend, I received an invite to attend the next senior staff meeting for the resident life team, and so I took the opportunity. So that was the Monday, this past Monday before Thanksgiving. I just wanted to give you a quick update. So it was informative for me, not being an RA, so I kind of learned some lot. I was able to kind of bring up some concerns. The one thing I wanted to mention is they've made a couple changes to the RA contracts. A lot of the changes, my understanding, are grandfathered in, so they are taking effect or they took effect either at the start of this year or the start of next year. And so all the employees who are currently, all the students who are currently RAs, their contracts are not affected by the changes. And so it kind of stinks for them, because one of the big changes they made was setting up a system of allowing when your RA gets written up for not doing something, it gets put on their record, and it stays there forever and ever and ever. And they just implemented a change for the new contracts that after, if you get written up after a year period of not having any, or not getting written up for a violation of your contract or your duties again, you can petition to have that thing removed. The other thing they set up is a process of how you, because they have the suites and then they have the traditional, and each one has an area coordinator. They had set up a system that's new for the new contracts, that if you work in a suite, an RA, that if you get punished or some sort of punishment or something on your record violation, if you appeal that, you would appeal. The process now goes to the opposite area coordinator, so the suite would go to the traditional back and forth. That was the other change they put in. The one thing with the kind of reporting system that was concerning to me is they have something it's a progression track. So they have informal write-ups, formal write-ups, they have probation and then termination. So they kind of have a system, and for the most part they have like minor things, like say an RA forgets to post something on like a bulletin board. So that would be something that's informal. And then they also have like extreme cases, so you're drinking with your underage students, right? So they have it set up that if you're doing that one, they can move you right away to probation, or they can move you right away to termination, or they can put you in a serious write-up. It's all like situational kind of thing. What was concerning with me was that you get an informal thing, it stays on your record, that the next thing you get is automatically moved to the next progression. So you're automatically moved up to formal. The next thing you get is automatically moved up to probation. The next thing is automatic termination. And my understanding is it's just whatever offense. And so if you do something minor, like say you, like bulletin board, I'll use that example again. That's an informal write-up, it's put in there. But if you already had done that once before, it automatically becomes formal. Or if you had already something on your record that was a little bit more serious, it may become probation. And so it may seem that students or RAs are being unfairly treated or fired for what would be normally a minor offense or a minor violation contract, or fulfillment of their duties or lack thereof, but because it's on the progression track, that it's their second or third one, that in the terms of their employment, that right away they're fired. This was, it's a little concerning to me. I understand that, the repeated things, but I think, there's a little bit of room, I think, to work with the Res Life staff and like the administration to kind of work that out. And my sentiment of Friends with RAs is that sometimes the RAs, they're treated as employees and not necessarily as students. And that's one thing I try to work with them, that, they are students, that they're employees of the university, yeah, and they're important, but they are students first. And so I think that's, another thing that we can kind of work, and they seem all really willing to work. And so that's something I think we can kind of work, just, be aware that's what happened. And, just kind of, those are the type of issues that you wouldn't think that you bring up, but like, I'm not an RA, so I wouldn't know anything about it. I'm a commuter, so I shouldn't necessarily care about Res Life, but I have friends who are RAs, and so I kind of hear about it, kind of care about it. So those are the type of things that, you kind of have your ear to the ground, you kind of hear about. But those are the type of things that real impacts that majority of the students don't really see, but a small percentage do, and they can make a big impact. So that's all I got. Any questions?
I'm just curious because I am an RA. Is once, so you said you can appeal your discipline, and that goes to the opposite area.
Yes.
Right? Can you appeal that? Because in a perfect world, it could go in the appeal system up to Dr. K, and she would have the final say.
Right. My understanding is no, but that could be thing. I didn't really push it further, but that could be a potential thing. I agree with, in a perfect world, that it would be up to the higher thing. But my understanding, if you don't peel, if you appeal to the area coordinator, and from there, I don't know if you necessarily get appeal, but I believe the next step would be Virginia, the director. There's also some staff. There's some vacant locations. There's a few secretaries and GAs, but there is an assistant director of Res Life position that's vacant. So my understanding is that person would be the next person you would peel it up to, but because that position doesn't exist or it's vacant, it's unfilled, I don't really know if RAs are getting a raw deal because they have no one to appeal to. Yes. I have no idea. Next, you would have to ask.
No, not yet. If you're asking for route bounds specific, we're probably going to do it in January.
Any other questions? Cool. Thank you.
Mine is pretty short. So last time I'm on the president's commission on the river, by the way. So last time we met with the master plan people, and that update was a lot longer. But this time we actually met with, well, it was us and then the beautification committee. We both met with the civil engineering senior design class to hear about their projects, and basically we just heard about, they're looking at the bridge on Savage and they're coming up with plans to renovate it. And the students basically just told us a couple of their plans. They really want to improve the optics of the bridge. They're thinking of putting, I don't know the specific name for it because I'm not an engineer, but something that makes the bridge shine from the bottom. So basically they're just looking at making the bridges look a lot better. We can look forward to that in this spring. So they're going to have their presentations on December 10th at 2 p.m. If anyone's interested in going and listening to them, let me know. I'll find the location for you. And then, so that's that. But they're looking at the civil engineers were in the room, like the department heads, and they're looking to have the student bridges, so the ones leading up to the library and those kind of bridges, updated, but that won't happen until the summer of 2017. So that's a long way from now. So right now we're just looking at the bridge outside of Savage, and then we also heard an update from, so there's currently going on, there's a replacement of the David Root Bridge, and so we heard an update from them. But President's Commission was kind of upset because they're planning on moving the beams from under the bridge to the top, and that's going to make scenery from the river look pretty bad. So the Beautification Committee and the President's Commission on the River had this motion. Sorry. The following motion was passed is campus beautification and the President's Commission on the River request that UT facilities consider moving the planned utility truss across the river to a location closer to the new David Root traffic bridge in order to reduce the visual impact of the truss upstream from the bridge view. So we originally wanted the truss to go back under the bridge, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we were basically brainstorming ways to put the truss either closer to the bridge or other ideas to make the scenery look better. So that's basically all we talked about. A lot of it was just listening to the senior design class's idea on the bridge outside of Savage. So look forward to that. I think construction for the David Root Bridge is actually happening this winter break, and then the Savage Bridge should happen either beginning of summer or this coming spring. So basically it.
I've been attending the last 3 meetings for the Presidential Council of Diversity for Cody. And for our last meeting, we had a guest speaker, Chief Newton from UT Police. And basically he just went down breaking the training for new police officers, what they have to go through to become a UT police officer. It's a 9-month process. And then he went on talking about the different classes they have to take regarding the different whatever classes they take, like awareness of diversity class, like the UT Police has to take, and they also take a women's violence class, and then he just kept going on about all the requirements and the new type of trainings they want, and then we gave him advice what we think what type of training each police officer should go to, and what type of training we would like to see out of them. So that's the meeting was about.
Any other reports? All right. Thank you guys for attending those. I feel like we've already heard a lot more committee reports than we did last year, so it's really good to get a scope reception on that. Okay, now we are on to our new business, and this is the one that was introduced by Mr. Stimes during the approval of minutes. This is the snow pile resolution. Any comments by the author?
Like I said before, it's $150 to help us put on a fundraiser. I'll say again, we raise money to buy the children of the Children's Hospital of Michigan presents around the holidays because their parents have medical bills and more important things to worry about. So we try to help brighten their holidays by purchasing presents. So we have a fundraiser next Wednesday, and this is the money to help us with that.
Any questions for the author? Any debate? Well, first off, per last week's legislation, I believe Nadine needs to say how much money we have. All right, cool. In the meantime, does anyone have any other questions, or we'll hold off voting until she gives the number in case that would sway anybody? That's an accurate assessment. I looked a while back, and I think that's about what it is. So well over $3,000, perfectly within our budget. This would come out of the sponsored events line. Yes.
So we actually, not myself, we created an organization. This is the first semester. So we didn't get a budget yet, but we've had several donations. So we would have to use that money to, put this event on, which just takes more money away from buying the presents. We've also had several donations for food for the events.
Anybody have any questions? Carl?
An amendment.
Amendment? That's for debate, if you have any motion to amend. Any other questions? Okay, we can hear your motion.
It should increase it from 150 to $150.
From 150 to what? I'm sorry.
To $150.
Second.
250.
150 to 250? All right. We have a motion to increase from 150 to 250. Do I hear a second?
I have a question before we.
Sure.
Isn't there like a dollar amount that it changes from a resolution to a bill? Isn't it over $150 it changes to a bill?
Over 200.
Okay.
So that would make it a bill, and we wouldn't be able to pass it in time.
Yeah.
Would you like to rescind your amendment? To $200? Okay, we have a counter motion to increase it to $200. Do I have a second?
Second.
Marty, do you?
I have a question for the author. Would you guys need $200? Does the $50 make a difference?
We're not sure because we're still selling tickets. We don't have a number yet, but if we don't use the money, then we're not going to use it. So.
Okay. The motion's been made to increase to $200. We've had a second. Does anyone object to this motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Please increase that to $200. Nadine?
We actually have $5,288 because we got another check.
Wow, that's a lot higher than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a lot higher than it was.
$5,288?
Yeah, that's what I have.
To put it in perspective, without the around campus checks, we usually start the year with $5,383. So because of those agenda checks, we basically have the same budget we did at the start of the year. So let's get to spending. Not to influence any kind of spending in debate. Do we have any other debate? Ben?
Motion to approve by acclamation.
Any objections? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? This passes. $200 to snowplow. Okay, and that's all we had for new business, I believe. Moving on to old business. I believe we have the Survey Monkey. Which is a bill. This is the second reading. This is to allocate $26 a month. Mr. Peachock has left. What? Yep. You can speak on his behalf.
Yeah, he just wanted to say that he did look into whether there was a less expensive option, but for this one, it's better because if you ever need to not do it for 1 month doing it for a year, like during the summer months, we won't need it, so it'll be a waste of, like $60-something, more than 60, $70-something, if we have the year one, because you can't cancel in the middle, so this is the best way to do it, and still get the benefits from it. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is stated anywhere, but would we begin the subscription the first day of spring semester, or would we do this now upon passing of it?
The first day of spring semester.
Okay. That's the answer I'd like to hear. Do we have any questions for Trish? Any debate? Trish?
Motion to elect by acclamation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any objections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? This bill passes. And I believe that's all we had. Good, I like that. So, we can move on to our last announcement section of the semester. Jared, yeah, I'll get to it.
For the tabling, nobody has signed up for Friday, December 11th, and 10 to 11 and 11 to 12 are still open on Wednesday, December 9th. And I have a list of people who still need to table. They are Sam, Emma, Dakota, Linnea, Izzy, Nick, Carl, Andrew Brownlee, Miles, and Brady. So if I called your name, make sure you see me, or else you can't speak first meeting of spring semester.
It's a long time to hold your silence. Do you have any other announcements? Nick?
So, thank you for the passing that legislation, but, so like I said before, our fundraiser is next Wednesday. It's at the Kevin Del Toro basement, and it's Snowplow Suites. So, if you want to take a break from your final exam and come and eat like cake and candy, cookies and all that stuff, that's what it is. So, I'm going to take it if you want.
Great. Sebastian?
All right, so my student organization, the Political Science Students Association, is collecting any items that you guys might not want that are in good condition, such as clothing, food, blankets, to help 20 Syrian families that have been established here in Toledo. We are going to be taking those items this coming Sunday, and there's also going to be volunteer opportunities coming this Saturday. If you guys want any more questions, I can give you the addresses to where this place is, and if you want to help us, you'll families out.
Thank you. Sir? Sure.
All right. I wanted to keep my announcement for the end, but as also with Ben and Jared, I will be leaving after this semester, so this was my last meeting tonight. And really, I just wanted to say thank you to student government overall for the last 3.5 years that I've been in it. Ben was actually the gentleman that got me involved with it the third week of freshman year back in 2012. So to Cody and Ian as well, for putting on a great organization and for really rebuilding the organization, and to Sebastian for keeping me as his Associate Chief Justice, and for giving new life to the SJC. I know in the next semester he's going to be doing a lot, continuing to close the gap for Senate and SJC. So I want to thank all of you guys, and if you guys need me for anything, don't hesitate to call. I'll still be around for a semester, especially when it comes for the election board, having sat on it for 2 previous sessions. And with Tricia, she'll note next semester for Rockathon. My mom and sister, thank you guys so much for sponsoring her, and if you guys want to do so again, she'd be welcome to do that. So thank you guys.
Any other announcements, Nadine?
Tomorrow, if you have any conflicts with Relay for Life, like if you're going with another organization or you have an excuse for it or something. And also after the meeting, go up to the room and check to see who you're paired with for the mentorship program.
All right. Any other announcements?
Jets tonight, come all out.
Yes.
We're moving it to B-dubs. Sorry.
Objection, B-dubs is too far away from me. I counter move to back to Jed's. I will be present, but if no one else has any announcements, I do have a couple. Alpha Sigma Phi, they kind of they kind of cornered me when they were tabling in the union. I always ducked my head, but sometimes they call my name. And if they call my name, they earn my respect. I go over and talk to them. So Alpha Sigma Fries this Thursday, 10 to 2, that will be held in the Kappa Delta House. Fries are good. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Cerna for his service for the last 3.5 years. Although I was working for the campaign for Clay and Ali, it was really fun to and very interesting for me to just, see a presidential election go down. I think he composed himself very well. It takes a lot of courage to run, I can assure you that. And I really do wish you the best of luck in all that you do. So again, thank you, Cerna, for your time. I'd also like to thank Mr. Enoch for his time as the External Affairs Chair. He was one of the newer members when he was appointed to the position, and he basically took it in full swing. He's not afraid, just like Ben, to come to my office, come up with some ideas. Again, not afraid to say what's on his mind. Very respectful guy. I look forward to hearing how COSGO went, as well as how the co-op went when we hear back from you in the summer. So again, congrats to your work, and I look forward to working with you in the future for student government. And just some closing remarks, just like over the summer, I won't be resting from student government. I'll put a lot of time in over winter break, mostly with website things, kind of seeing what I can and can't do, as well as kind of explore some initiatives that we can tackle this spring. If you had told me last year we'd have bike share done by October, I would have probably laughed at you. But since that's done and the library hours will eventually become underway, I'm going to look for some even more initiatives to tackle, as well as Ian. So thank you for a great semester. It's really been an honor to be your president as well as the president of the student body. I really do take every day as a blessing being here, and I'm just really grateful for you guys. Best of luck on finals, and yeah, see you at Jed's. The meeting's over after the final roll call. Oh! Can we get a round of applause for that? I like to hear that. This meeting is now adjourned.
Okay, is the kitchen still open? Because that's the sole reason. Okay. That was the sole reason. That was the sole reason.